What is up, members of my collector corps? It is I, Super Mariozilla, or you could call me Vinny, and today we are going to take a look at the S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla Singular Point Godzilla Ultima. Godzilla Singular Point was the latest and greatest thing to star the King of the Monsters, so it was only natural for MonsterArts to soon follow. It makes sense. It's the same thing with Godzilla 2017 when that mediocre anime trilogy was new. So, how does Ultima fare here? Well, I'll be glad to tell you. We will see if he is worthy to have a spot on your Godzilla shelf. Alright, let's get the negatives out of the way. The paint on the teeth is terrible as per usual. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. And the eyes are also not painted right. You can tell someone really struggled to align them, but with how small they are, yeah, kind of hard to do. And to be honest, from afar and just messing with them, it's actually hard to notice it. So this time I will excuse it. For now. Those are really my only complaints. Ultima looks great otherwise. Ultima is not your traditional looking Godzilla, and Bandai nailed it with the sculpt. And the paint job is not too bad either. Everything is cleaned and nicely applied, mostly. There are some spots like on the forearms where the paint job is a little messy. Could have been better. The claws also do look a bit spotty. Not perfect, but not terrible either. Ultima is a very muscular and chunky Godzilla, and always looking at this figure shocks me how gigantic and toned he is. My favorite part of the figure is undoubtedly the dorsal plates. They have a maple leaf look to it, and honestly, it looks really nice. The red on the plates makes them pop on the shelf immediately, commanding attention. It looks good. And finally, reaching the tail, it is long. Like, really long. A very large tail that starts out thicker but progressively gets thinner. Overall, the look of Ultima is great sculpt-wise. Paint job, while good in some areas, absolutely needed more work in others. Other than that, Ultima fits the bill.
Godzilla Ultima's articulation is similar to figures like Godzilla Earth, and in some parts similar to Shin Godzilla. I will go over all that right now. So the head is where the Shin Godzilla comparison comes in. It's on the style of ball joints that Shin Godzilla had. One ball joint for the top jaw and the bottom ball joint for the bottom jaw. So that's pretty cool. So he can open his mouth out pretty wide, though if you want it wider, you obviously got to use the alternate head, so still, it's pretty cool. Head is on head and neck are also on a bit of ball joints, so it can look pretty much all the way up. Looking down, it's not the absolute greatest. That's about as far down as I could get him to look without hunching him over. And looking side to side, he can do that just fine. No issues there. The waist is on a ball joint here. This chest plate is actually a sleeve, so he can crouch down with no issues breaking up the sculpt. And this is how far he can crouch down, and this is how far he can crunch backward. So that's pretty cool. And this part right here is also a sleeve. Because the rest of it is on a ball joint. Wiggle around, rotate, just slightly. It's pretty cool. Arms are on ball joints. Some butterfly joint movement there. Can move pretty decently. Biceps are on ball joints, but do act as the bicep swivel. Elbows are also on ball joints and can move just a little bit over 90 degrees. Pretty cool. Hands are on ball joints. I think it's the double ball peg of ball joints. This one's fine. This one is a little bit loosey-goosey, but stays in with no problem once it's actually in there, so it's not a big deal. Legs. So people have complained about, gaps. There we go. The gap's fixed. Stop complaining. Either way, legs are on ball joints. He can kick forward pretty freaking far, and he can kick backward pretty far as well. And can he do the splits? He can. He can. Godzilla Ultima can. Jean-Claude Van Damme, ladies and gentlemen. Knees are on ball joints. I think it's a double ball peg here to here, so he can pretty much kick his knee forward all the way straight, and can have a pretty good bend. Ankle is on ball joints here and here, so we have pretty awesome ankle rocker movement. But pretty awesome ankle movement in general, so not bad. tail. The tail is really fun. Although, stuff to keep in mind. The base of the tail, right here, and I think here, are very, very weighed down. There's no way to get them to hold a pose. And to be honest, I'm not blaming Bandai. I don't think there was a way to, because of the weight of the figure and how much segments of ball joints the tail needed. I'm not sure how you could have fixed this issue, so honestly, I'm not going to dock points on that one. I don't see how you can stop it from drooping unless you used a Tamashi stage or was just really creative with posing or better at posing figures than I am. But either way, you still get the rest of the tail, which goes all the way up here, and you can get some ridiculous movement out of this tail, and I do mean ridiculous. Oops. Yeah, that part's a little bit loose, but it's not a big deal. You can get some ridiculous movement out of this tail. It is insane how much movement you can get out of that tail because of how long it is. How much ball joints they had to pack in here just to get this tail functional. I mean, look at that. This is really fun. My most favorite tail on any Godzilla figure, period. This is my favorite tail. It's so fun to mess around with. To see all sorts of poses you can get the tail into. It's phenomenal, in my opinion. It's fantastic. I love it. I really love it. So, when you're creative, you can get Ultima into some pretty freaking cool poses if you know how to pose your figures. Like here's something for you guys and gals. Look at that. Can't forget the tail. Like, honestly, that is really cool. That is bloody cool. That is amazing. Like, if you were, like, you would not expect a Godzilla with this much bulk to have that much articulation, but he does. He has plenty of range of movement. So if you were looking forward to the articulation on this guy, you certainly have something to look forward to, because this guy poses really nice. Ultima poses really nice.
We do get a couple of accessories, so buckle in. No beams, which means it's probably being saved for a Spitfire repaint, but who knows. Godzilla Ultima comes with an alternate head with his mouth opened wide to the fullest extent to give him a big roar. Interchanging it is easy enough, but still be careful, the grip on the ball joint is still a bit tight. Pull off the neck and area that both jaws are attached to. Then, without missing the neck sleeve, put on the new head. And now Ultima screams for dear life. Next up are two Jet Jaguar minifigures. They are mini to be in scale with Ultima before Jet Jaguar got beefed up to Godzilla size. Proto Jet Jaguar, which is the smaller one, and the larger Jet Jaguar, who I forgot the specific name to, who has the Spear of Anguirus. Both minifigures have stands to keep them both standing, they just attach to their feet. Both sculpts are decent for their size. Keep in mind, I got lucky with this, but I've seen other figures where the mold lines are super visible and look awful. And my one complaint? No paint at all. It's literally the color they've been casted in. I am pretty disappointed. Since we get minifigures, sometimes not just with Bandai, we always get some kind of color with them, even if it doesn't look the best. So yeah, I'm honestly disappointed with that. Accessories are fun additions with Ultima, so I am happy with the package. Just wish the Jet Jaguars were better. Here's a size comparison with other figures you may or may not have in the collection. Ultima is huge, and that tail of his is the shelf's worst nightmare. Ultima is just as tall and thick as Godzilla Earth, minus, the tail length. So yeah, think about that before you want to add him to the shelf. He needs room. Well, Ultima is a decent figure. He's not great, not winning awards, but still a welcome addition to the MonsterArts line. He has a lot of fun factor despite the shortcomings. He's a fun figure that I have a hard time putting down just because of the articulation alone. Do I recommend him? I do. As long as you don't mind the price. Ultima retails for around $120. Not a terrible price considering he's a giant, but the issues he does have can make it a little hard to swallow. But if you need a great representation of Ultima on that shelf, I'd say go for it, for sale especially. as long as the price is not an issue for you. Ultima will be getting an 8 out of 10.